Men should always pay for women. And no, it's not because men are natural providers or because women shouldn't have their own money or work. Men should have to incentivize women to want to be around them. As long as these bad men exist, we women need these good men to protect us. Why would women choose to go out with our apex predator and also pay for our own meal? I promise you, you're going to feel better about a man wasting your time if he's also fed you.
Welcome to another episode of Self-Checkout. I'm your humble and gracious host, Check. This is a male-dominant space for social awareness, relationships, and overall shit-talking. Today's video comes from another content creator, and of course, every video that I review on the internet has to be deemed either trolling or staged until proven otherwise, simply because people get on the internet and say absolutely anything. But before we get into the video, guys, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. That way, every time we drop a video, you get first dibs on a video, all right? Without further ado, let's get right into it.
Men should always pay for women. And no, it's not because men are natural providers or because women shouldn't have their own money or work. This has nothing to do with gender roles. Men should have to incentivize women to want to be around them for the following reasons. Men are women's apex predator. 91% of rape and assault cases are done to women. 99% of perpetrators are men. 2% of convicted rapists go to prison. And the majority of the time, the offender is someone that the woman knows or is dating. That does not seem very equal to me. And the crazy part is you will hear men complain more about the male loneliness epidemic or feminism than you will hear them talk about any of these things. Men rely on these bad men to make themselves look like good men in contrast. And since they rely on this contrast to evade accountability, they will never actually protect us from these bad men. As long as these bad men exist, we women need these good men to protect us. The problem is that's a lie because they don't actually protect us.
Hold on. Her opening statement is that men should have to pay for a woman's time and attention. They're finding all of the most unique ways to not call it prostitution, which is baffling to me. She also throws out a whole bunch of stats about 2% of men that commit a crime when it comes to SA and things of that nature. 2% of them go to jail. She just threw out a whole bunch of stats, honestly. I don't know how true any of those stats are, because a lot of them just get on here and just say anything just to further their narrative. You know what? That was a lot. Let's take it back from the top.
Men should always pay for women. And no, it's not because men are natural providers or because women shouldn't have their own money or work. This has nothing to do with gender roles. Men should have to incentivize women to want to be around them.
That doesn't make any sense. I'm spending my time, you're spending your time. I shouldn't have to incentivize you to do anything. It's either you would like to be around me or you would not like to be around me. But let's continue.
For the following reasons. Men are women's apex predator. 91% of rape and assault cases are done to women. 99% of perpetrators are men. 2% of convicted rapists go to prison. And the majority of the time, the offender is someone that the woman knows or is dating.
If I'm your apex predator, why would you want to come out with me? I don't understand. Being so afraid and feeling as if this person's going to cause any harm, why would you want to be around me in any way, shape, or form? Why? It doesn't make any sense to me. All those numbers she just threw out, I highly doubt that any of those are accurate. I strongly don't believe in it. I'll have to do my own research on it, but I highly doubt that any of what she's saying is true. I'm not saying that those kind of cases don't happen to women. That is not what I'm saying. However, I know a lot of content creators like this come out with all these fucking numbers that they just made up on their own. 91% of from what? Where are you pulling this information from? But let's finish.
Does not seem very equal to me. And the crazy part is you will hear men complain more about the male loneliness epidemic or feminism than you will hear them talk about any of these things.
Yes, because it directly pertains to us. We as people are naturally selfish. We're going to think about ourselves before we think about anyone else. So why wouldn't we complain about the male loneliness epidemic or feminism? Those things directly affect us. Duh. Anybody in their right mind operates in that manner. Not saying that we shouldn't care about other people. Of course we should. But things that directly affect you is what you prioritize first. So of course men are going to think about that initially. Let's continue.
Men rely on these bad men to make themselves look like good men in contrast. And since they rely on this contrast to evade accountability, they will never actually protect us from these bad men. As long as these bad men exist, we women need these good men to protect us. The problem...
She contradicted herself. She just said there were no good men. That there's no good men out there. They're just using the bad men to make themselves look good. And all of a sudden, we need the good men to protect us from the bad men. Nah, that don't make no sense. You got to listen carefully to the things that they say and how they contradict themselves in their statements. There's a lot of good men. There's a community of bad men. But they generalize it in a way where you feel as if majority of men are bad. Not even close. Most men are really good. But let's see what else she has to say.
Is that's a lie because they don't actually protect us. Why would women choose to go out with our apex predator and also pay for our own meal? Why would we put ourselves out just to put ourselves at risk?
It doesn't matter if they're incentivizing you. Why would you want to go out with your apex predator? For a meal? Keep in mind, in the beginning of the video, she said men should pay for a woman's time, and it has nothing to do with gender roles. It's not because women shouldn't work. So if you're working, you're making your own money, you should be able to feed yourself. Why would you put yourself at risk for a meal and a conversation that you may not enjoy? Make it make sense. Let's move along.
Point is, women's time is more valuable than men's time.
No, it's not.
Men constantly tell us that we're going to be undesirable after 30, while they get to be desirable well into their senior years.
Very true.
Now, I don't think that's true, but that's what we're consistently told. In any case, if a woman does want to have children, she does have a limited amount of time compared to a man. And by this logic, since women have limited time, it is inherently more valuable than a man's time. Why then would a woman waste her time to go out with a man who isn't going to make it worth her time, and who more than likely is going to waste her time? I promise you, you're going to feel better about a man wasting your time if he's also fed you.
She's equating putting yourself in a very difficult position, according to her, because I don't think it's difficult to go out with a man on a date. It makes it all the better, or it makes it more tolerable if he feeds you. You got to keep an eye out for women that do videos like this doing their makeup, because I feel as if they're so focused on the makeup, they're not even listening to what they're actually saying. Let's continue.
Has improved your life and financed your passions and your development. Thirdly, women's reproductive rights. There are very real health risks and financial consequences when engaging with men. Men have largely been silent as our right to choose has been rolled back, and contraceptives are not foolproof. The only way that you can guarantee that you will not get pregnant is by not sleeping with men at all. The reality is you could be stuck carrying a man's child, sacrificing your career and your body and financial stability if you choose to sleep with a man who cannot at least pay for your dinner and nonetheless support a child. Women are forced to dysregulate our hormones with birth control and to risk infections through condoms. Men don't have to worry about these things. Men's bodies are never up for political debate. Ours are. Men cannot and do not split these burdens with us, and they can't split the labor of carrying and giving birth to a child. Finally, women's presence and attention is more valuable than men's are. Erotic dance clubs with female dancers generate $7.4 billion annually, making up 95% of total revenue. Erotic dance clubs with male dancers generate $328 million annually, making up 5% of total revenue. And spicy fan sites reflect the same numbers. Female creators that make heterosexual content constitute 95% of top earners. Male creators who make heterosexual content constitute 5% of top earners. I don't know many women who pay to see men dance on poles. There are very few examples.
Although I still don't believe in her numbers, I feel like she's just throwing out a lot of shit that's coming to the top of her head. But that's one part that I probably do agree with. From a sexual standpoint, women out-earn men by a long shot, whether it be adult films, whether it be OnlyFans, whether it be strip clubs, whatever may have you. And it's simply because women are just the more sexier being, without a doubt. There's no competition there. Men, we can't compete in that space. Women are always going to be more sexy than we are. They have much more to show, they have much more to offer in that realm. But let's see what else she has to say.
Of professional women who have tanked their entire reputation and legacy to chat with minors or to pursue men in a coercive or disrespectful way. Women don't bond with each other over men serving as hot wings and mini shorts. That's what men do. As a woman, when you're seen with a man, it lowers your social capital. We saw this surrounding the online discourse that occurred when Nina Igdal got engaged to Logan Paul. So
you trying to tell me that Savannah James is not a bigger name because of LeBron James? You trying to tell me Michelle Obama is not a bigger name because of Barack Obama? You trying to tell me Aisha Curry is not a bigger name because of Steph Curry? If your man stands on something, he upgrades you. Simple. If he's a quality man and he stands on something, he upgrades you. No, he doesn't have to be a millionaire. No, I understand. I gave those examples just so it could be clear, because those are people that we all should know, right? He can be an average guy, blue collar worker, but he handles business. That's an upgrade for you. Let's move along.
Are seen with multiple women, they are held in higher regard by society and amongst their peers. Women who are seen with multiple men, whether she's sleeping with them or not, are condemned.
Yes, and it's simply because it is very difficult for a man to get women. It is not very difficult for a woman to get men. That's why it's very simple math. Very, very simple math. Let's continue.
Seen with a man, you are increasing his social capital and lowering your own. You should not also be paying for your meal. As a woman, you are valuable, in spite of what society might try to lead you to believe. Things are not equal. If men would like access to women, they need to pick up the slack and make the process of dating them as convenient as possible.
Let's stop it right here. We got to stop the bleeding at some point. I've heard enough of her. The message will always be the same. There's things that women offer that are valuable to men, and there's things that men offer that are valuable to women. Now, depending on how much work you put into yourself will determine how valuable you are as a human being. Yes, we all start out with a base value because we are human beings. Yes. But there's things that you can do to increase your value as a person. So if that woman that you're dating isn't doing that, if she's not trying to better herself to help you, there's no need for you to do the same thing in turn. Understand, as a man, yes, it is our job to pursue. no problem. But once you do pursue, this narrative of you got to make her life as convenient as possible is only if she is also making your life as convenient as possible. This whole very one-sided narrative where it's like, oh, the man's supposed to do all this shit just to make the woman's life easier, and he's supposed to take all the burden and hard work and pain and agony. Nah, we're not doing that no more. Those days are fucking over. Moral to the story is, you should never have to pay for someone's time that's romantically interested in you. It's an equal exchange because you both are putting your time on the line, and time is something neither one of us can get back. No one person's time is more valuable than the next person. If we agree to go on a date, we agree. I would take the extra step as a man to pay the tab, but only if the energy is reciprocated. Y'all keep the change.